The moment I turn on the camera, Aaron's over there conjugating yeet.
I yeet, you yeet, he, she, it yeets.
Yeah, let's just make it one of those, what was it? We found out that like liquids become an unquantifiable substance. Uncountable substance, so that water is water, no matter what it is. That makes me kind of think that deer are uncountable substances. What is that, sheep? Is that one or 100? I don't know. It's a massive fuzz out there in my field. It looks like moss is growing.
White moving moss.
Churning, because they rotate in a little circle because of dogs like Kaylee. But that's the thing. And so, because we were trying to figure out what like the plural of milk was, and we realized that you can say, here are your waters, which is a condensed form in English for here are your glasses of water. And you can say the same thing with other things, but when you pluralize a liquid, you're talking about multiple containers. Just because whether you give someone 12 milliliters, half a liter, or a full liter, you're still giving them Coke. Water. But if you say, here are your Cokes, it's most likely you're giving them like a 6-pack can.
Or each person gets a bottle.
Yes, and so, interesting. We're going to still take advantage of the weather and take the bikes and stuff. Oh, there's my Sleeves invoice. Yeah, I forgot to show Aaron all that stuff yesterday. It's all piled up next to the bed. But yeah, well, I can show you stuff before we go, because your alarm hasn't gone off yet. And it's like, well, what am I going to do? Show you 2 sleeves, a sack pack, and some armbands? Oh my God.
A few moments later.
Oh, okay. Weird. My mat had fallen over. Anyways, I'll roll you up later. We're gonna have a big breeze through here. Anyways, it's 3:30. So, yesterday's video took a lot longer to edit than I expected. Plus, Aaron and I spent, things were taking a little bit longer, and then by the time I was like, okay, I don't have enough time to go to the store, come back, do my shopping, then come back, and then drop all the groceries off, and then get out to my appointment. Appointment wound up running late, which was 1 to 2 o'clock. Ran till like 2:30 because the appointment went from 1 to 2, and then we talked until like 2:10, and then he got a phone call, thought we'd be done by 2, wound up being on the phone for 15 minutes, and then we finally made the appointment. And then I had to like book my butt across Amsterdam. So this video is going to be short. It's this morning, this afternoon. I might just go on a long bike ride today, get some decent cardio in and pump my legs. It's good. I'll do like plyos and sprints tomorrow. Whatnot. Put this as a bike riding day. Just schedules. Anyways, so finally, what I'm going to say is go to my athlete page. There's a link down there. Always is a link down there to my athlete page. If you want to go ahead and like it. I'm going to say it here. Alexander Honig. Now, he's German. Now, I need you guys to, now I'm going to sit here and be calm for a second. I need you guys to realize what the implications of this is. So, a guy named Moritz played in Germany for a number of years. Multiple seasons, and eventually he, of his own money, went to an NFL tryout and was good enough to get signed to the Vikings. He went, like I said, to an NFL tryout, not the full-blown, like, NCAA televised combine that I know of. And so when he went there, he got He'd already kind of been seen by some coaches that went overseas, or he'd put out his film and then went to an actual thing, got recorded, and was like, okay, got signed by the Vikings. Was signed by the Vikings, that was awesome. The next year, he was still on the practice squad, and then they, let him go because he was just not quite competing. But this is a guy who never went through college. He never went through high school. He never went through youth ball. He basically signed up for football in Germany, played club sports, did whatever, on top of on his own personal training plus whatever, and got signed and put a practice squad, got paid by the NFL. To be fair, he's not the first person from overseas. There have been numerous people, numerous guys who have played in the NFL who come from European countries. Typically, they've gone the college route. They've graduated high school, they've gone to college in the States, and they've worked their way up on like a practice squad from basically going into college ball, whether it be D1 or whatnot. It's not like he was a trailblazer there, other than the fact that he didn't really go the typical American route to get to the NFL. Now we have Alexander Honig. He's from southern Germany. He's 6'6", and he's like 17, 18 years old. And he's accepted an offer yesterday or today, time differences, for TCU. Is he going to be a starting quarterback? Probably not. Is he good? Yes, but having a freshman starting quarterback, odd. So I'm not saying he's not amazing. I'm just saying he's probably not going to be a starter. And if he is, even better. But he never went through high school ball. I'm not sure how long he's played football in Germany. But the thing, and he was probably scouted by some American coaches, and they came over and coached him being a quarterback because he's like 6'6". It certainly helps when you're tall to be a quarterback, and with the right training and all that jazz, it works out really well. He's been on numerous teams. I've friends with him on Facebook, so I will be sharing a lot more stuff. Now, I'm not just talking about Alexander Honig here, although you can go see, his thing and various stuff. I just tweeted out some of his stuff also, and I said there's a link below to all the various things that I've shared out, and you can see. It's not just Alexander. There's a whole army of guys. There are guys here in the Netherlands that are like receiver and running back quality. Just, they tear off after things. Are they going to the NFL? I don't know. Are they good enough for D1, D2? Yeah. They're good enough for that, and then they can get better in college. And what I'm saying here for the end of this video is American high schoolers are being put on notice. They're not being put on blast, but they're being put on notice because as Americans, we, not necessarily me, I didn't play high school football, have a privilege with the sport. When you're in youth, your parents have to pay a fair bit. When you're in high school, you don't necessarily have to pay anything, and you kind of get free gear. It may not be the best gear, but a lot of people get gear. I've talked with Willie about this. A lot of these kids, they get a lot of gear. And the school kind of pays for stuff, and yeah, whatnot. In Europe, they're always paying a contribution to the club. Always. And they put in all the extra time. They have no school sports here. Not in the Netherlands, not in Germany, not in Poland, not in Italy. It's all extracurricular, and they don't have practices every day of the week because it's just a club. And so depending on the club, they may not be able to run a practice for the youth for 2 hours, 5 days a week. Just saying, that might not be a thing. So as Americans, you have a privilege with football, but you've got guys who have a disadvantage, and they're coming for your spots. And as Alexander Honig is putting, he got a spot as a quarterback for TCU. Think about that. You just got beat out by a guy who's never been to an American high school if you wanted to go to TCU as a quarterback. And there are other guys coming. Ex-import players, that are over here in Europe running around looking for students, looking for kids across all the countries here, this entire continent. Denmark, Austria, Germany, France, Great Britain, Netherlands, Italy, Poland, name it. There are countries here which have kids vying and able to compete with you guys. So, don't be surprised.